Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Marketist podcast. If you are a business owner tired of spending money on marketing that does not compound, this episode is just for you. Today's guest is someone who doesn't just talk about growth, he builds the system around it. From building superstar SEO into seven figure agency to launching Legit as eight-figure growth engine, Chris M. Walker has spent over a decade helping entrepreneurs take control of their marketing without becoming dependent on expensive agencies. Chris, thank you so much for taking the time out and welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Been looking forward to this.
Wonderful. Everybody, I will share all the links, all the websites to the Chris in the description. You can just go follow him. Chris, my first question would be you have built multiple seven and eight figure businesses. So, if business growth had to be reduced to one principle, what would that be?
For I guess, wow. Um, I could answer that four or five different ways, but I guess the most important thing would be to know who you are, who you're. I don't want to say serving, but like who your audience and your customer is, and what you can do to help them. And I say help them not in an altruistic way, but in a way that makes you money, because that's what you're really in this for, is to make money. So a lot of people I ask that question to, and they don't. You'd be stunned. Maybe you wouldn't. I don't know, but I was stunned at how many people don't know the exact answer to who their ideal customer is, or who they're trying to help or support, or who should buy their thing and why. And I don't know how you can really do anything else if you don't know that. Like if you're just kind of stabbing around in the dark, you it's not going to work. So know who you're trying to serve and help, and then build your business and your product and your service around that.
So, in other words, you are saying that everybody should find a niche and niche down their services, right?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. Like, I think the riches is in the niches thing is overstated. I think what people do with that is they're too afraid to go broad. You can go broad, but you need to know who and what what you're trying to sell them to, who and why. You know, Walmart, for example, isn't a niche, or Amazon isn't in a niche, and Apple's not in one. I want to have a great big broad business like that too, but I also know what problem we're solving for them, or what they need, and so on. A good example of this is of why people that don't know this. Um, I have a tool that it's just a free little copywriting tool that I give to my freelancers so they can write a better description for their services. And like one of the questions is, who is your ideal customer? And most of them give up and don't fill that out because they don't know. So that's kind of what I mean. Is like it doesn't have to be niched down, but you still need to know who you're talking to with each product, each service, and why they should buy it, as opposed to someone else's.
So, you have found it legit, right? Am I pronouncing it right? Legit?
You are same as legit without the two eyes. So.
Okay. So, freelance marketplaces are just evolving rapidly, like Fiverr and Upwork. We have just recently saw the dip in their shares as well. How do you see Legit differentiating itself from these platforms, especially in terms of growth, quality, and long-term value for both buyers and sellers?
Sure. So first of all, that is like just one part of what we are now. And that's one of the ways that's one of the answers to your question. So we have a whole other side to legit as well. The marketplace is what it started as, but we've built in some software that and some services that can help a business owner beyond that. So to answer your question, one of the things we do is focus just on business owners. Fiverr and Upwork, you can get anything under the sun, and that's great. There's clearly a market for that. There's clearly people out there that want a guy that happens to look like Jesus to hold up a sign in a video for you, saying whatever you want it to say. I'm not knocking on that. That guy makes 100 grand a month doing that. So, but that's not who we are. We want to work directly with business owners to help businesses grow, because that's what we care about. That's what we're good at. That's what we're knowledgeable about. So what we try to do to differentiate ourselves is first focus on that. On the freelancer side, we try to, instead of helping as many freelancers make a little bit of money as possible, we want the really, really skilled, highly talented freelancers to make a lot of money, and everybody else to go over to the cheapo sites. Like I won't mention them by name, but you did that for me. That's another way that we try to differentiate ourselves. And then the software is really, and it's not just software, but like what we're trying to do is create an entire ecosystem. You mentioned in the beginning, we call it an operating system for a business. That's what we're trying to build. So we have it set up to where you can come to our site and put in like the URL of your website and answer 2 or 3 questions. And it's going to tell you everything that's right, everything that's wrong, and it's going to tell you how to fix it so you can do it yourself. It's going to give you some training to fix it if you don't know how, or it will connect you to freelancers that can do it for you, really skilled freelancers. So that way it helps you, it helps them, and that has like tracking and things like that so they can see the progress over time, gives them a score and things like that. And we also have 24/7 human being support, which is very, very rare in not just marketplaces, but in general. Even big companies don't often have that.
Exactly.
That's another way we're trying to differentiate ourselves because I can't. Is it all right if I swear?
No, you
Okay,
can
I won't.
swear.
Okay. I can't freaking stand when I go to get customer support and I have to go through an AI chat first to get to a person. So that's another thing that we differentiate ourselves on. But the real thing is to give businesses all the tools they need to succeed because that's what we are as myself and my partner and the other people that are dedicated to this. And that's how we differentiate ourselves from that. And funny you ask it that way because I used to get asked all the time, how is this different than Fiverr? And it would piss me off. But like, I also didn't have a good answer. So we spent some time thinking about who we are and what we do and how we're different. And that's what's put us on this path. And that's what's built those things for us.
Wonderful. My one question is, but I have kept it at the end, that how any business who is coming on legit, how they should optimize their profiles to just get the maximum out of that platform.
I mean, for like as a freelancer,
Yeah, as a freelancer or as a business or an agency who is coming on legit, how
somebody
should
wanting
they
to
like?
sell through us.
Yeah, like how what they should do to optimize their profile,
Sure.
just to get the
There's a
maximum.
lot. There's a lot. If you look at mine, you go to legit.com/superstar SEO. I have it set up visually to where it looks like a YouTube channel. It has
Mm,
a cover photo with my picture in it and some high quality graphics. All the thumbnails are kind of similar, but they not exactly. They all have my face in it. They all have a consistent color.
mm,
Uh, they have calls to action that are borderline clickbait, but not like fake clickbait, but like
mm,
learn more. Like the title of the thing doesn't need to be exactly what you do. So if it's guest post links, it shouldn't just be guest post links. It should be something that entices people to click because the point of a thumbnail and a title of a service is to get people to click it. And then that brings us to the next part, which is the
mm,
sales page. And what a lot of people do, and this is because of Fiverr, and the way they handle things is terrible because like you can't really describe anything or anything like that. What you what you want to do is write some actual sales copy, like some actual direct response, Dan Kennedy, Gary Halbert, like actual sales copy that persuades people to buy the thing. Having a picture of yourself in your profile is very, very important. We allow you to have in fact, let me put it a different way. For your profile photo, you only are allowed 2 options. One is a picture of yourself, which is what we highly recommend, or a branded logo, because sometimes it's like an agency and it's not just one
mm.
person. Connect all your socials, respond to things properly, quickly. Don't worry about optimizing for the on-site search. What you need to optimize for is conversion. So learn how to be a marketer and set it up like you're setting up a landing page you would in, I don't know, ClickFunnels or whatever people use now, high level. And it's really well optimized. And I told you I had a tool that can help write the copy for that. And that's kind of that. So what a lot of people do is they sign up and they barely list a half a sentence of what they do and have some generic thumbnail. And we have a tool that can build your thumbnail too. Some generic thumbnail, and then expect the site to just dump money on them because they signed up, and then get mad at me and us like because they're not getting sales. I was like, I don't want you to get sales. I want, unless you are going to really, really put in the work to make something that looks professional and looks persuasive and tells my customers why they should give you money.
Well,
Hmm.
my next question is about SEO, right? I
Okay.
love SEO, and I started my freelance journey as an SEO. You also did the same somehow. Okay. So for years, we have heard this sentence that SEO is dead, yet
Hmm.
it keeps evolving. Now that AI overviews, brand mentions, and shifts in specifically user behavior, it feels like we are in bigger transition, just like than just algorithm updates. What does real SEO leverage looks like in 2026, and how should businesses think about it differently?
Well, first of all, we always make that joke about everyone saying SEO is dead, but I don't know that I've ever actually heard anybody say that. I think it's become like a joke of everyone says that everyone says it, but no one actually says it. But and beyond that, you're right. It is different, but for my money, it's the best it's ever been because for the first time since I've been doing this since like 2013, give or take, for the first time we have something to optimize for other than Google. We have particularly ChatGPT, but also AI overviews, and to me, it's very exciting. First of all, AI, SEO, AEO, GEO, whatever the hell they're going to end up calling it, um, is easier, at least now, in my opinion. It's very, very easy to manipulate. That's what I was doing right before we got on here, actually. And like, keep that in mind as part of your strategy, and don't. A lot of people get pissed because like it doesn't work the way it used to, and you can't just get 10 blue links and rank and get a lot of organic traffic that way. I mean, there's exceptions to everything, of course, but you still have all this opportunity. You have more things that you can optimize for. You have the AI overview. You have people also ask. You have questions and answers. You have Google Maps. You have organic. You have the different AIs. Mostly ChatGPT is what I'm talking about when I say that, because I think that's what most people would go to for information. But you also have Gemini and Claude and Perplexity and all the others. So you have think big. Stop thinking SEO is dead because I don't get as many clicks because of AI overviews, which is absolutely true. But you have so many other ways you can get traffic now. And also, the other thing is you can't just think about keywords and content and links anymore. Like, you can't just find some low hanging fruit keywords, write like a few articles optimized for that keyword, then send 5 guest posts to it and rank. That doesn't work anymore. At least it doesn't work often anymore. You have to have an established brand and a site and things like that. And I know that sucks, that it's a lot harder work, but it's better for customers anyway, and it's better for you in the long run because you have a much bigger asset and a bigger thing to help your customers. So, excuse me. I guess the answer to your question is you have to start thinking bigger and thinking like a business and a brand and trying to get all of these traffic sources from it rather than just trying to get 10 blue links from Google, which is just not coming back. I wish it was as much as anybody else, but it's just not. And you can either stay stuck in the past and be mad that it doesn't work the way it used to, or you can adapt and keep making money. I know which one I choose.
Exactly. I totally understand. Actually, a lot of people like who are new to SEO or maybe just don't understand the backbone of the SEO. They skip the foundations, right? Be it brand building, be it website building, like completely complete structure, be it the backend like technical thing, right? So they skip that part and they end up saying that SEO is dead, and that's why a lot of people say. And usually a lot of people who are into paid ads, they say that SEO is dead, SEO does not work like that. I've heard people saying this. So yeah, thank you so
Anything
much
that
for
anybody
explaining.
says is dead, what they're really saying is they aren't good enough at it to get results with it.
Yeah, that's good perspective to put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are so right about it. So I see on your LinkedIn and on your social media that you are very vocal about businesses owning their growth, right? So where do most agencies actually fail, and where do owners misunderstand the relationship?
So where agencies fail is they don't think they're responsible for making their customers more money, and that's not theory. Like I've asked I have a couple of pretty big Facebook groups that I run, and and I've also asked on Reddit, which that's a whole other topic. But I've asked and said, how do you guarantee that your clients make an ROI from your services? And 99% of them said that's not their responsibility. And I'm like, that's why they hate us right there, is because they are not hiring an employee. They are not hiring someone to do a task. When they invest in marketing, they want to make money. And they're like, well, there's things beyond my control. And then give them their money back. Like if you don't get them, there's some caveats to that, of course. But if you can't consistently deliver results, you don't deserve to get paid. And basically, what a lot of agencies are doing, or they'll go, especially SEO agencies, which is kind of where the bulk of my experience is. But they'll be like, yeah, so this is going to be $2,000 a month. You won't see any results for the first 6 months, so you'll be $12,000 in. And even then, it might take a year. And if it does take that long, it's not my fault because I don't own Google. And if anything changes, that's also not my fault. I don't own Google, and I can't guarantee you that even if I get these results, you'll make any money. from this $12,000 you've invested in me, sign here. Like, why in the world would anybody pay you for that? So that's what agencies are doing wrong. Now, I also understand that some of that's true. So what you need to do is structure the way you offer it better. So you have to look and do an analysis of the customer, what their sales process is, what their offer is, and figure out how much you can realistically make them in the amount of time that you can realistically promise them. And if that number is more than is not at least equal or more than they're paying you, you shouldn't take their business. But you need to establish ahead of time what they can expect from you and get them to agree to that expectation of that amount of money, that amount of traffic, that amount of leads, that amount of calls, whatever it is, before you take any of their money. If you legitimately think it can take a year, and at 6 months they are like, and you didn't tell them that, and at 6 months they're like, I'm not getting anything out of this, you failed at your job. If you told them in advance it'd be a year and it hasn't been a year yet, then it's on them. So what agencies are doing wrong is that they suck. They don't guarantee any results, and that makes the whole industry look bad when they can. And what customers or business owners need to understand is that we're not miracle workers. Like, if I could flip a switch and turn their business and increase their business, I would just go buy their business and do it for myself. So it is a skill. It is something that takes time, and it's not like computer programming where you put in one input and you're guaranteed to get an output. So it does take some time. It does take some skill. We're not your employees, but you need to give us the room to do what we promised you we would do. And then if we don't deliver, then that's on us. But if we do deliver and it's not what you expected, then that's on you.
Mm,
I get a little fired
exactly.
up talking about that. I apologize if that was
No
irrelevant.
problem. That's what we are here to talk about. You can just say anything, yeah. And a lot of people will definitely learn from this, and it's okay. I would love to hear more about this. No problem. Right. So my next question would be that okay, we explained the problem with businesses and SEO agencies. So for the business part of like they are like finding the right SEO person or agency is one of the biggest challenges for the business owners, right? There are so many business owners reach out to us or maybe reach out to you that they are like they have been scammed from previous agency or from previous person. So what signals or red flags should they be looking for before hiring someone, or what questions should they be asking that most people don't?
How much will I make? How much more will I make than I paid you if I hire you? How long will it take for me to make that much? And what happens if you don't deliver? Those should be the main three questions that a business asks an agency. And if they fuck their way, and I'm sorry, I was trying not to swear. If they stumble their way through that, don't and can't give you concrete numbers and go into the, well, it depends and I don't know, all that crap, don't hire them. They may be
Mm,
perfectly capable of it, but they don't respect you enough to have a good answer to that. So that would be the main things I would tell a business owner to ask. Quick thing though, when you do talk to people, and if they're like, yeah, I've worked with 7 different agencies and none of them delivered and none of them could get results and none of them could communicate, might be worth thinking about what one person was common to all of those too. And that is all that, to me, that's a red flag of a customer when they say I've
mm,
been through all these agencies and I couldn't get results. Very possible because, like I said, most agencies suck. But it's also possible that that person sucked. It's like if you to put it in like an analogy, if there's somebody that keeps getting into relationships and it keeps failing for the same reason, the problem is probably them.
mm. Wonderful. You explained very well. All right. So, my quick question about Google. So, if you lost access to Google tomorrow, right? Let's just say that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, no search, no ads, no search traffic. What assets would you build to reach $1 million in the next 12 months?
Truthfully, like legit doesn't get, I mean, I guess it does get a good amount of informational search traffic from Google, but we our number one direct response sales channel is my personal brand. So I guess the personal brand would be the number one thing I would reach, because you can apply that to any business. You can just pick up, as long as you can find like a product, you can monetize that. So that's where I would start. Email lists work really well. Organic social media, if you can do it right, that's how I found you, if I'm not mistaken, was you
Yes.
saw a Facebook post of mine, and I that's what got me here. So that works really, really well if you can crack the algorithm. Most people are really bad at that. I've gotten really good at it over the last like 6 months or so. Um, and an email list is very important as well. They say that your email list is the one thing that you actually own, and that's somewhat true. But this is a little off topic. Just a little bit of a tip. make sure you're backing it up every so often, because suppose you get locked out of your, excuse me, active campaign account or something like that, you're just as screwed as if your Facebook or your YouTube or whatever gets shut down. But I would start with a personal brand and then organic social media combined with email to get sales. I don't really think Google is the best at driving direct conversions for, depending on the niche, of course, but I find that it's more top of funnel than it is ready to buy. And I know that goes against conventional wisdom. Most people think that if they're searching best, I don't know, a best plasma TV or what, I don't even think they make plasma TVs anymore. It shows you how often I buy stuff. But best plasma TV, like if they're ready to buy, I don't necessarily agree. I think that that's often someone that's top or middle of funnel rather than ready to pull out their credit card. So to me, it would suck, of course, but I think that there's plenty of other ways to get traffic. And frankly, I enjoy the other ways of getting traffic more than I do like Google search, because like it's the, what do you call it? The feedback loop is so long, right? Like it takes so long to that. Now it's a tidal wave when you do get optimized and you get traffic from Google, but it takes so long. Whereas one Facebook post can get me on your podcast.
Yes, exactly. So, talking about personal brand, right? I love talking about personal brands, and I would love to hear more about it from you. That how Imran Nadir as a personal brand could grow on social media, on YouTube, on LinkedIn. What mistakes a lot of people you may have seen are making that are damaging their personal brands, and what is the like future look like for personal brands? It is like influencer marketing or something. What do you see? How do you see it?
Well, to answer your question, I think the mistake that a lot of people make is they try to talk about what they are interested in rather than what their customer is interested in. And they only talk about what their customer is interested in as it relates to their particular business. And what I mean by that is, suppose I want to be an SEO influencer, which I guess I sort of am. I would, what they, a lot of them do is just they talk about Google reviews or how to optimize your GMB or at least 3 tips for link building, all that crap. And that's fine, but that's one, for one thing, all people do when they see content like that is, if they're even interested in it, they just extract from it and then they leave. It doesn't, what they don't do is address the entire person. So just because somebody's an SEO doesn't mean that's the only thing they care about, just because that's what you sell. You need to get as many people into your ecosystem as possible. You need to appeal to that whole person. So SEOs might be interested in biohacking and in sports and politics, or like motivation or success stories. And that's where I've had a lot of success, is like, and I made this mistake for a long time too, but like appealing to the entire person gets them to like you, gets them to follow you. It reaches people that you wouldn't reach just talking about what you're interested in. And then you can sell them stuff with your content that's actually useful. So that's one thing that a lot of people get wrong. And do that at scale, to take that to like the extreme, Mr. Beast, okay, for years, all he did was they built these crazy YouTube videos that he does. And he had no product for years because he was just building as much of an audience as possible, from appealing to as many people as possible. And now all he has to do is slap his face on a chocolate bar or a Lunchable or whatever else he sells. I'm in Vietnam right now, which is why I have the crappy camera and lighting setup. And I see Mr. Beast bars in the stores here. So
Oh,
like,
wonderful.
yeah. And so that's the main thing that a lot of people do wrong, is they only want to talk about what they want to talk about and what they want to sell, rather than appealing to the whole audience. And if you want to look at somebody else that's really good at that, that's not quite as big a name, Austin Armstrong, who's a friend of mine,
Ye-
very, very, very good at like
Yes,
appealing
I
to a
know
broad
him
audience
from.
and bringing them in.
Yeah, I know him from his TikTok days when he used to make videos on TikTok. Then he explored other options. Now he has built like his tool on video editing, right?
Yeah.
That uh, I
Fun little anecdote about him. The way I met him, I didn't follow TikTok back. It was like 2020. I didn't really follow TikTok because I'm a grown up. But I was running a Facebook ad that just targeted people who had birthdays coming up that had interacted with my brand. It just said, "Hey, just wanted to wish you a happy birthday." That's literally all it said. And he got served that, and he thought it was amazing, and he made a TikTok video about it, and that was how I met him. And like we've been pretty good friends ever since then. Where else was I going with that? Where will personal brand go in 2026? I think it's just the same thing. Like just being, I think another thing a lot of people do wrong, and what I think that they should do in 2026 and beyond, is not try to be an influencer, but just try to be someone of value. An influencer, I think that term has like gotten corrupted
Mm,
because like an influencer is someone who has influence. It's right there in the word. So what they're trying to do is instead of trying to have an influence, they're just trying to build the typical influencer profile. And it probably works. I don't know. I don't really know a lot of those types of people. But
mm,
for me, a great example, and I don't like him personally, but a great example of what an actual influencer is a few years ago, Elon Musk made, before he owned Twitter, made a tweet about Signal, the messaging app, and how it was a good app, and it
mm,
got flooded to the point where the whole thing crashed. That's
mm,
actual influence. So actually building your influence by proving your knowledge, your skills, your value, and your worth is the way you build a personal brand. But also remembering that the people that you're trying to influence are people and not just an interest. I think that's a great way to put that. Is that people think like in wannabe personal brands or influencers think of just I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. They think of just like the one fat portion of a person. If you think about the whole person, you'll make them love you, and then they'll buy whatever you sell them. Oh, and one other
well,
thing, a great part about a personal brand is for right now, my main product is legit. If someday I decided to exit that or whatever, I could just take that personal brand and stick it on my face on whatever I do next. So that's really the leverage that it gives you. So that kind of answers your other question too, right? You're like, what if Google went away? What would you do? What asset? And like that asset that they really can't take away from you. The only person that can take that away from you is yourself by if you start like treating people badly, which
mm,
sometimes I do
mm.
fall into the trap of.
Wonderful. Previously, like few days ago, someone asked me that, okay, Imran, I want to develop two websites, like one for the business website, one for the personal brand. I said, okay, then I said the same things you mentioned. Like personal brand is not going anywhere. You can sell your business tomorrow. Like if you
Mhm.
have good business, you can sell it and somebody would own it, like name it or different something. But you own your personal brand and it will remain with you forever.
Right.
So that is good, good, totally good explanation. My friend asks questions a lot. He always say, okay, ask this question to your next guest. I told him that Chris Walker is coming, so he asked me this question. Okay, with the ads getting expensive, businesses are leaning more into organic growth between website SEO and video content on social media. Which one builds stronger long-term growth, and how would you combine them the right way?
Video by far. I mean, let me ask you this: what's a famous? Can you name a famous YouTuber for me? Any famous YouTuber? Can you name one?
Yeah, Chris M. Walker.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Mr. Beast, of course.
Mr. Beast. Okay. Can you name a famous Google person? No. Like,
Not right now. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So that's why I think it's more valuable.
Mm,
If you go out and ask somebody in the world, they can name Mr. Beast, they can name Logan Paul, Jake Paul, whoever. Nobody knows who Neil Patel is outside of our industry. And he's probably the most famous person. Maybe not. I don't know. But you know what I mean?
yeah.
So video. Now, how can you combine the two? I mean, you should definitely do both, right? Like that, my thing is wherever there are people, that's where you should be. Whether it's ads, whether it's organic social, whether it's social SEO, whatever it is, be in front of people. And it's funny. A funny example of this is whenever I run Facebook ads to like an SEO product of any kind, there are morons in the comments that are like, "Well, if SEO is so great, why are you running ads?" I'm like, because one thing is great doesn't mean another isn't. Steak is really good, and so is pizza. If I go ahead and say steak is great, that doesn't mean I don't also eat pizza.
That,
So
that's awesome. You
does that answer
explain
the
it very
question?
well. Sorry.
Does that answer the question?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I just added this one segment recently, like in this episode. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Chris Walker like quick questions. So let's see what wins, right? So
Okay.
I'm gonna give you two options, and you just have to go with one, right? And you
Okay.
don't have to say like it depends, like we usually as digital marketers say. All right. So SEO versus paid ads.
Paid ads. Um, Paid ads. I know
Paid ads.
I'm more famous for SEO, but I would say paid ads because the formula is easier to get right. You can get that to where you can put in $1 and get out two like reliably, and that's why if I had to choose one, I would choose paid ads.
And paid ads versus email marketing.
Um, I mean, you have to get email somehow, so like I don't know how to really separate the two,
You
but
just have to select one. It's like fun round.
yeah, I would say email because like I whenever I need like a cash influx, I just go write one for myself from our email
Mm.
list.
So email marketing versus YouTube.
I mean, it depends on the person, but assuming that they're an introvert and they suck, they should do email. But if they don't, then they should do YouTube.
And YouTube versus personal brand.
I mean, they're kind of the same thing, right? The personal brand is like whatever platform you use to build the personal brand.
Okay,
So
so let's say personal brand versus GEO optimization. Like again, it's SEO.
personal brand.
So personal brand wins, right?
All the other tools are part of your personal brand, right? Your social media, your YouTube, your Google, your AEO. So
Wonderful. I want to talk more about things, but this is what I had prepared for this episode because
okay,
I wanted to keep it like I had to respect your time as well. And
okay.
thank you so much for coming in to the podcast. I really hope and really wish a lot of people watching this must have learned something out of it, and they will apply out of this. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
And I appreciate you having me. And if I can help anybody watching this, just get in touch with me. I try to be as giving as I possibly can.